Hello, people of Earth. We are live. We have something to talk about today. Get some people in here if notifications are going out. Let's just check. Right, let Cat in. Juan Avalos, Heath Close, you're both first. Pigtail, Kevin, Troy, Light Bright, Big Rich, Stu Manchu, Ricardo, Big Houston, Trucker Bandit, clickbait. I don't know. Is it clickbait? Isn't that what trucking YouTubers do? Isn't that what we do? Clyde Garland, Jeff Beard, Jimmy Hoffa. Hello. All right. So I expected the number to get a little bit higher because people are like, what? Yeah, like right. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So why am I home? I had to take the truck in the shop. I don't think it's anything major, um, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, here we go. I got a letter today. Now, oh, where's the envelope? Anyways, got this envelope. Schneider. Those of you who don't know, I once was an owner operator for Schneider. I'm sure most of you already know that. All right, so here's the deal, man. So I thought, well, it's too early to be my tax form, right? It's too early to be anything like that. So I thought, why are they sending me? Maybe, every now and then you get a check from I think up to a year later, I kept getting checks from Landstar after I'd left. So, um, let me do something here real quick. Let me mark this out. That way, address isn't all over the place here. Anyways, I get home, truck's in the shop, and I got this letter from Schneider. Now, before I begin, this is not a bash on Schneider whatsoever, okay? Not at all. Got my like trucking pen. All right. That works. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read this letter. You guys ready for this? Did I get my HET? I got it from Jeff, All right. No, it's not a check. I thought originally it was going to be a check but my escrow's all caught up. So unless there was some kind of insurance rebate, so I was kind of, like, why is Schneider sending me a letter? Then I opened it up and boom, there it was. Okay. I'll read this letter to you. Dear Stephen, how reliable has your revenue been lately? Over my 35 years in trucking, I know steady cash flow is your key to business success. And the volatile spot market simply doesn't offer it. You can't ride the rate roller coaster for very long and expect your business to succeed. Think about that. Then they have like a chart, spot market, Schneider. Okay. I'll read that to you. Spot market is revenue inconsistency, mostly live load and unload, operating expenses, business expenses, hassle with brokers, freight inconsistency and harder to optimize, hard to find parking and amenities. Okay. Schneider's Choice program is revenue consistency, mostly no touch freight, purchase power savings and no trailer rental costs, no trailer costs, or no cost trailer, no in-cab device with e-log costs, No brokers or dispatchers, pick, click, and go. Huge freight base and easier load planning. Access to nationwide facilities and amenities. Tom, I don't know who Tom is. Tom learned the hard way. He's an owner operator with 25 years of driving experience. Tom was leased on with Schneider, but decided to check out the spot market as rates increased. He quickly discovered the volatility and hassles inherent in the spot market business model and brought his business back to Schneider. It's a story I've heard too many times. Don't chase rates when your business needs stability. And then it goes on, with the recruiter stuff after that. Now, here's what's interesting about this letter, okay? The reasons why I left Landstar to go to Schneider was the very reasons that they list here as far as the chart, right? But here's part of the letter that bothers me, okay? The beginning of the letter, I'll read it to you again. How reliable has your revenue been lately? Over my 35 years in trucking, I know steady cash flow is the key to business success. That is true, okay? And the volatile spot market simply doesn't offer it. That is false. You can't ride the rate roller coaster for very long and expect your business to succeed. Let me talk about that, okay? That is a statement that insults the very intelligence of their drivers that have left. Okay? That is an assumption that if you leave our company, you will fail because we think that you don't have enough business sense to make it work. Now, and I'll get to the comments here. I don't want to lose my train of thought. There are approximately, 2,500 owner-operators at Schneider? Now, I will say this. Schneider does give you an easy platform to make money. If it had not been for Jeff, I would probably still be over there. Okay, let that be known, right? However, it's the wording of this letter that bothers me a little bit because here's let me read this sentence again. You can't ride the roller coaster. You can't ride the rate roller coaster for very long and expect your business to succeed. Here's where I have a problem with that. Part of owning a business is that you have to go through the roller coaster. You have to learn how to adapt and overcome. You have to learn how to take the good with the bad. And the Schneider and Landstar and all the different owner-operator programs that are out there are no different than the spot market in the sense that you have to learn how to adapt and survive. When I switched from Landstar to Schneider, it was a move that I know that would give me more consistency. Jeff showed me the numbers. His quarterly numbers did not drop, or it was pretty much a straight line all the way across for all 4 quarters. And the man became successful at it. And then pretty soon, I became successful with it. Okay. However, it was a case of trial and error. It was a case of ups and downs. And so that comment is ludicrous to me because the spot market is where a lot of business is dealt. There's if the mom and pop shop that makes gun holsters needs something shipped that FedEx can't handle or something like that can't handle, they put it on the spot market. A broker takes care of it and puts it out there. And a large portion of freight is moved in the spot market. So you can't tell me that you can't succeed in the spot market, because if you couldn't, everybody would be signed on with mega carriers. And what this says to me is that it's basically telling you ex Schneider drivers that went to the spot market to better yourselves, to get to that next step, to go get your own authority, that you won't be able to handle it. And that is a huge, major assumption that really puts a sour taste in my mouth. Now, is it more challenging to be in the spot market? Yes. Is it more of a hassle, as they put it, to deal with brokers? Yes, but that's part of being in the business. Not to mention, if let's say that is your huge weakness, let's say that's your main weakness, is that you can't deal with brokers. There are 4 click and go apps out there that you can book with. I booked a load last week at 11 o'clock at night with a book it now price. That was actually really good. It was like $3 a mile. So what is the other inconvenience that they listed? Let's go over their spot market downs, like their cons, okay? Revenue inconsistency. You have to create that revenue you have to create the revenue consistency. How you do that is how you adapt to your market. You can go get a direct shipper. You can do power only for another carrier. You can, have a broker that calls you before loads hit the board. There are ways to deal with the inconsistency. Okay. And like I said, I'll get to the comments here. Mostly live unload. Okay, that one I'll give them. If you own your own trailer, chances are you're doing a live unload. If not, you're dropping it for a day or so, which you should get a premium rate if you do that. But when you have a drop and hook situation, and you Schneider guys and you Swift guys and everybody else that does drop and hook, you know what happens. You have bad tires, bad brakes, the doors falling off. There are other headaches when it comes to drop and hook trailers. When I hook up to my trailer, I know that trailer is exactly the way I left it. And so to sit there and say that to do mostly live load and unload, guess what? There are inconveniences when it comes to dealing with drop and hook. Okay. And it was funny because there was a Schneider owner operator that knew I was leaving over at the Dallas yard. And he asked me, he goes, have you considered the fact that you'll be doing nothing but live dock time? And I said, well, I just did a drop and hook that took 6 hours. And he's like, okay, I get it. Okay, so what's their next list? Operating expenses. Well, hello. Can I help you? She's never done that. Dude, what are you doing? So she's just going to make herself think. Operating expenses. It's true that your operating expenses might increase, okay? But there's a lot of you do have the ELD expenses. That's where you have an advantage at Schneider. You don't have to pay some tolls, and you don't have to pay for the e-log that they give you. Okay. However, with that headache, you have way more check calls to deal with. You have, you know, it's your operating expenses become rearranged. My plates are about the same. My apportion plate is about the same. Do I have a trailer payment now? Yes, and I compensated for that, and I get the increase in the rates that I see, and the increase in the percentage I get um, offset that cost of that trailer. So when it comes to operating expenses and business expenses, there's no comparison. My business expenses are much better because of the way my carrier, like trucking, has it arranged. And so there might be people that have way more expenses depending on what company they're at. And that's something that you have to take in consideration. And here's where else I'm going with this video, okay? Now, freight inconsistency and harder to optimize. That's part of the struggle. That's part of the learning. That is part of adapt and overcome. Okay? And hard to find parking and amenities. Someone asked me if there was anything I missed about Schneider, and I'm not bashing them. Okay, I'm bashing this letter. I'm bashing this method of recruitment. Okay, I do miss the yards, and here's why. If I have a load that goes, let's say it delivers at 6 a.m. in Dallas, I'm either paying for parking or I'm parking an hour or 2 hours away. At Schneider, I could just pull in the yard. However, at the Dallas yard, sometimes there wasn't any parking in there either. Indianapolis, same thing. But it goes back to the adapt and overcome. I realized that, and so therefore I made adjustments. Now I don't book a load that delivers at Dallas at 6 a.m. Okay. Now, the part that really bothers me is that the assumption that if you leave Schneider, you don't know what you're doing and that you will fail. I take offense to that slightly. Because while, yes, it is a different ball game, it is a different beast, and there are people that left Schneider to chase the higher money. However, if you calculated everything and if you took in consideration the worst case scenarios and you knew that that things were going to be different and you anticipated it and you adjusted for it, then you're going to be okay. Is working the spot market harder than working at Schneider? Yes. However, it's not like working the Schneider program has its own headaches, you know? And so, no, I'm not going back to Schneider. I'm very happy in the spot market. Are the rates down? Yes. But I came into this when the rates weren't much higher than they are now. Okay. What you guys don't see is the stuff behind the scene. Every day I talk to Jeff. Every single day I talk to Jeff on the phone, and he would tell me his numbers and then tell me what my numbers would be with the percentage. And he would help me calculate what my potential costs were, with the trailer and everything else. And so it's not like I went into this blind, okay? And when it comes to the hassle, as they put it, of dealing with the brokers, I've already dealt with that. And what you learn is, number one, you need to have strategies on how to talk to these brokers, learn their tactics, okay? Number two, you have to know that it's not as easy as click and go. And some of the apps are click and go, okay? Number three, let's say that you just despise talking to brokers. You just despise it. Well, then you have to come up with a strategy that enables you to not have to do that. There are carriers that have brokers in their pocket where they call them, hey, what do you got leaving out Monday? Hold on a second. I'm getting a message. Jeff, you can call on my main line. Let me turn off my Bluetooth. And if you don't like dealing with the brokers, then you figure out ways to not have to deal with the brokers. There are carriers that have like dedicated runs that they do, and then they'll deal with the brokers. For backhauls. Here, I'll just call you, Jeff. Let's put this here. Oh, can you guys hear that? Hey, am I in trouble?
No, I call your main line, not your work line, right?
Yeah, this is my main line.
All right, let me call you back.
Okay. I think I just hung up on him. Could you guys hear that okay? Now, if my other phone rings, I'll have to get up and get it, because I think he's confused on which phone to call me. You can hear it? Man, I wish. Okay, so let's go over the comments while Jeff figures out what's going on here. Because I'm sure Jeff got the same letter. I'm sure that all of you, let's see if I can. You got all of the light guys just about. Here we go. All right, Jeff, you are live on YouTube, and hopefully people can hear you.
All right. We're going to have a really good discussion as you think about this Schneider deal. Now, I got Gear Grabber line, so I got 3 Schneider guys, and we're going to have it. You ready?
Yep. What you think of my letter?
All right, Scott, we're live on YouTube with Snorlord. I'm on Snorlord's channel.
Yep. I am blessed with the biggest YouTuber with no content that there is. I mean, what are you up to, 100 now?
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Here's what Gear Grabber suggested. He suggested that he do a whiteboard of the spot market versus Schneider because of this letter, and he's probably going to 1,000 subscribers. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at my count. I never get 70 people in here, and they're like, I know some of it's clickbait because people thought I was leaving and they want to see me fail. But yeah, did you guys get the same letter?
I haven't been home to see, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Right.
I'm not home either.
Yeah, this is dated.
We're talking about it.
This is dated
I've been
the
down
5th.
in Florida, and they're advertising like crazy down here. If you're tired of
Yeah, well, they've been running those radio ads on satellite for the last, I don't know, 8 months.
All right, let's talk about the other pieces of it.
Okay.
Steve.
All right.
All right, so let's look at the piece where they say the ups and downs of the spot market rate.
The volatility. Right? Yep. Volatility. That's their words, not mine.
Yeah, hold on a second. He must have a broker calling him.
You should tell that broker, don't you know I'm live on Snorlord's channel? Come on. He'd be like, what? Probably. You know, the Landstar guy at GATS, he recognized me. He's like, yeah, I remember you. And he kind of glared at me. Schneider called him. Yep. Oh, so while we're waiting for Jeff, let's go over some comments. Schneider called him. Yep. Oh, so while we're waiting for Jeff, let's go over some comments here. There's a lot of comments. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. Okay, Jeff's calling me on the other line. All right. Jeff, you'll have to get your grabber back on your line there.
All right, let me get him back. We had some technical difficulties. We had a broker trying to call
in. We're talking about my cat. All right.
All right, we all back. I am.
All right.
Okay. So let's look at that ups and downs. So when you were at Schneider, and you used Truck and Pro, correct?
Yep.
All right, so what was your average rate per mile for all miles?
Oh, for all miles?
All miles.
I know, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but it was about $1.20. That's because of the areas I ran, and I didn't really push it, you know?
Right. Your grabber, do you know yours? It was up around $1.35, $1.40, that area. So, and all the Schneider guys I talked to, if they actually ran a program, almost everybody fell in the $1.17 to about $1.40 tops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that pretty good agreement?
Yeah, there's a few that know the program really well, like Big Rig CO and Burger, that are doing exceptionally better than that, but they're not the norm, I believe.
Right, they're not the norm. So, let's take a look at their statement. Now, we have a trailer cost, right? You have a trailer payment.
Yep.
So we take your trailer payment and your insurance. We're going to compare apples to apples, but we don't have occupational insurance. They do, right? You don't have occupational insurance.
Right.
Correct. And you pay more for IFTA over there than you do here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
By far. By far. And some other things. So when you add it all up, about $0.015 a mile difference. So that means in the spot market freight, Steve, you would have to haul for $1.65 a mile to make, which, you know, to be about $1.30, $1.31 or so at Schneider, right, for all miles.
Yeah.
Now, they say, tired of brokers. Well, you know what? At $1.65 a mile, I can get on C.H. Robinson's app, and all I got to do is click the email button and say how much that load pays. You know it's going to pay $2 a mile, right?
Mm-hmm.
We agree on that?
Yeah.
Yep. And you can stay loaded all day long, every day with them, with open receiving pickups and deliveries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, or how about this? If you only got to make $1.65, could you not use Uber, Convoy, JB Hunt, Coyote, and have all click and go?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you could.
Yeah, and that's one of the topics I brought up, is that if dealing with the brokers is so, seems to be like an Achilles heel in your business, then you figure out a way to not have to do that. And those click and go apps make that easy to do that. I didn't have a click and go at Landstar. That's the difference between the spot market and Landstar. So when I came into this, I knew I was going to have to deal with brokers, but